Capitol Hill. Happening now, we have some breaking news for you.
CBSN is on right now, on any computer, on the CBS News mobile app, and on Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. CBSN, CBS News, always on.
You're watching ZBM TV 9, Bermuda.
Save $1 on fresh green beans, only $2.99 per pound. Save $2 per pound on fresh assorted pork chops, only $2.99 per pound. Save 60 cents on a 12-ounce tin of Grace corned beef, only $3.49. Squeeze on the best Heinz ketchup 32-ounce bottle, just $3.69. Can't beat this old-time Honey Wheat sliced bread, only $3.99 per loaf. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV 9 News.
Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, January 24th, 2017. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Topping our news, another victory for Dr. Mahesh Reddy in his efforts to have police action taken against him in May of last year quashed. Dr. Reddy appeared before the Chief Justice and was successful in having an application by the Commissioner of Police thrown out. Gary Moreno has our story.
It was in August of last year that Dr. Reddy, represented by QC Lord Peter Goldsmith and attorney Delroy Duncan, sought and was granted leave by Chief Justice Dr. Ian Kewali to seek orders of judicial review to quash a decision by the Bermuda Police Service to search and arrest Dr. Reddy at his home without a search warrant. Back then, the Commissioner of Police issued 2 summonses seeking to prevent leave being granted for that judicial review. The first was to strike out the granting of leave to judicial review, the other to put on hold judicial proceedings on the basis that it was an abuse of process because of an ongoing investigation. Well, today the Chief Justice dismissed both applications filed by the Commissioner of Police, who was represented by attorney Dante Williams and Inesta Weeks. Today's ruling allows for Dr. Reddy to proceed to a hearing to have the search and arrest quashed. Dr. Kewali also awarding costs in the matter to Dr. Reddy. You may remember Dr. Reddy was arrested in May of last year after police carried out a search of his home in connection with a reported ongoing financial investigation. He was subsequently, however, released on police bail pending further inquiries. Dr. Reddy is a member of the Bermuda Council and is a long-standing physician with Bermuda Healthcare Services, which is chaired by former Premier Dr. Ewart Brown. Dr. Brown at the time alleged that the arrest of Dr. Reddy was really an attempt to discredit him personally. He and Dr. Reddy charged that the arrest and search were unlawful and political. Now, we've reached out to the Bermuda Police Service seeking a reaction to the ruling handed down today by the Chief Justice and are awaiting a response. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Well, today's rain and drizzle may have been enough to keep most people indoors. However, it was nowhere near enough to stop the training of the newest soldiers of the Royal Bermuda Regiment, who have begun their second week of the annual recruit camp. We decided to enlist our very own Try Trot into War camp, at least for just 1 hour, to get a sense of life at Recruit Camp 2017.
The sound of rifles being fired by a group of new recruits. For most, their first time handling and discharging a live weapon. But before they discharged their weapons, Sergeant Tatum Ford, who is the range conduct officer, gave them detailed instructions.
I have a section here behind me, just getting ready to fire. I'm just giving them a brief and giving them the ammunition. So they're waiting on me to address them so they can start the firing. Basically what they're doing is they have fired the weapons initially earlier last week. Now they're into the zeroing phase. So we're trying to get their sights onto where they're actually looking. So that's what we're going to do in this phase here. So this is the zeroing part here that we're doing.
Reflecting on this year's batch of 60 soldiers, the second time it has been comprised of 100% volunteers, new Royal Bermuda Regiment Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel David Curley telling us soldiers had signed up for different reasons.
They want to be here. They have different avenues and different ideals of what they want to accomplish. Some of them want to be fit. Some of them want to take on the challenge of being a leader.
Some new recruits hope to use their new training to help with the security arrangements for the upcoming America's Cup.
And that will be on the table for some of these guys as well, but they need further training. Remember, right now, what they're doing is recruit training.
One new soldier, Private Hollis, said he was encouraged by friends and family when deciding to join the regiment ranks.
I signed up because it's something new, and I'm an ambitious person.
You weren't afraid of
the physical aspects, which is very demanding, we know.
No, of course not. Of course not. It's just something new, so trying something out that's different to me.
Some recruits taking advantage of the Royal Bermuda Regiment's promise of a $500 sign-on bonus,
which is a good incentive. And again, it's not all because of the money. Again, some of them, there might be a little stickling about the cash.
Government, and that is to.
Government took criticism from anti-conscription campaigners when it replaced conscription with conscription, contrary to pre-election pledges, raising the question if conscription could be reinstated if the number of volunteers does not sustain.
Yeah, it's conscription is definitely not off the books. It's still law as per the Defense Act. We have been working very closely with my ministry, and we have come to the understanding that, we will take the volunteers and we will look at it and see how it goes for a period of time. Conscription does help us out in various areas because we get a bigger pool of people. We have to find this right balance, and I believe that having conscription for many, many years and then doing this volunteer, we can actually set a benchmark and have a look to see what the pros and cons are, and we can go forward.
There are those who look forward to the day when the regiment doesn't have to conscript anyone, period. Do you look forward to that day?
Personally, it's mixed. It's yes and no. And again, conscription has been there for about 50 odd years. It has worked really well. We've gotten some great officers and commanding officers out of that pool.
For now, the new recruits soldier on.
And that was Tarai Trott reporting. Well, stay with us. We'll have more news, and tonight, AccuWeather forecast after the break.
Open 9 to 7, Monday to Saturday, on 41 Victoria Street in Hamilton for your home appliance and hardware needs. Sears, washers and dryers, refrigerators and freezers, gas ovens and electric ranges, a large array of Craftsman tools and accessories, lawn and garden tools, fitness equipment, outdoor furniture, barbecue grills, and much, much more. Open 9 to 7, Monday to Saturday. Sears, bringing Bermuda the best variety at everyday low prices.
If you're looking for extra savings and free benefits
with car insurance
and home insurance,
Colonial has just the cover you need.
There's a free $250 gift voucher for new home insurance customers too, and 10% car insurance discount if you have home insurance.
With a claim service that's quick and friendly.
We call it cover without added costs.
Call for a quote on 296-3700 or visit cgigroup.com.
Colonial, where people come first.
No guarantees that current PLP members of Parliament will run in the same constituencies they now represent in the next general election. And according to Opposition Leader David Byrd, there is nothing controversial about that. It's all in keeping with the party's constitution. Once again, here's Gary Moreno.
If any Progressive Labour Party sitting member of Parliament feels they're entitled to represent the same constituency they did in the 2012 election, they may well have to think again. The opposition leader says what the PLP is seeking to do as it prepares for the writ to be dropped goes beyond deciding on the best representative for any particular constituency.
There are no candidates in a seat until the Central Committee puts them there. So, that's just basic understanding of the way the PLP runs, functions, and operates. We're going through our candidate selection process. We are doing the work to recruit candidates that we feel that can represent the country well, because we're putting together a team that will not only run in a general election, but we're putting together a team to govern this country. We're putting together a team that can unite this country. We're putting together a team that can actually diversify the economy and grow the economy.
And that, Mr. Burtis says, is the reason the candidate selection process is so involved. But should current candidates then expect to be shifted, if not altogether replaced?
Oh, there's always a chance, Gary. The fact that the PLP Constitution speaks to our candidate selection process, and we're going to go through that process. And when it's over, I'm sure you and members of the media will show up to the candidate announcements as they happen throughout the country.
How far along is that process?
We're looking to get that process done as soon as we can, and it is ongoing, and we will see when it comes to an end.
How long before it comes to an end?
I can't answer that question. That I can't answer.
Can you say how many candidates have already been selected?
How many candidates have already been selected? 0.
Does that include yourself?
That does include myself, Gary.
According to the Pembroke West Central Member of Parliament, as the Progressive Labour Party prepares to return to government, it is engaging with all facets of the community to ensure that when the date of the next general election is announced, he and his colleagues who currently sit to the left of their House Speaker Randall Horton are in a position to give the people what he says they are looking for.
So what I spend my time doing is making sure that we meet with the various stakeholders and understand their concerns and come with policies and plans to address the concerns that many Bermudians have insofar as how do we move this country forward in a unified fashion so that we all can prosper.
Noble intentions, it might be argued, but that notwithstanding, a number of sitting PLP parliamentarians we spoke with say while their fate may lie in the hands of the delegates, there could well be repeats in a number of constituencies of what obtained when Mr. Burt himself succeeded party stalwart Nalitha Butterfield in Pembroke West Central. Mr. Burt at that time emerged as the party's choice to contest for that seat in the 2012 general election, following a runoff against the then-incumbent Ms. Butterfield. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
In other news this evening, medical contingency plans are set in place for the arrival of up to 10,000 additional people to the island for the 35th America's Cup this summer. Jasmine Patterson finds out what the Bermuda Hospitals Board have been doing to prepare.
Dr. Rosalind Bascom-Adams sits on the Medical Contingency Committee with the ACBDA and the BHB's Disaster Response Team to look at how best to jointly use the resources available for the America's Cup, with the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service, Marine Police, and the St. John's Ambulance also in collaboration. There is an additional 3,000 to 10,000 people on island than what we could normally expect during early summer. Here's what the emergency department are taking into consideration.
We think that there would be an increase in emergency room visits from things that happen as a result of increased activities around the island. More people in the water, more people on the mopeds, and therefore more bike accidents, more parties, so people getting a little bit high on legal stuff and maybe some illegal stuff as well, and then not driving responsibly and ending up having encounters with the pavement or with other vehicles.
In terms of the utilization of hospital staff,
hiring of extra staff is not off the books, but we don't think we'll need a huge amount of staff. There may be skills on island that we don't have that may be needed, like a neurosurgical skill, and we are looking at possibilities of having a memorandum of understanding perhaps with air ambulance service. That is something that needs to be determined by the insurance company, but something as simple as that can lead to a faster movement of patients to more specialized care if the need arises.
4 out of 6 ambulances are operational now. However, 1 more will soon be available. However,
we do need to have the ability to mobilize additional ambulances if the need arises, say for mass casualty situations, and also just to rest the vehicles so that they can be rotated. We should be acquiring an additional 2 ambulances later this year, so that we can stop leaning on St. John's Ambulance, who we have leaned on quite a bit in the last year or 2, because our last batch of ambulances were real troublemakers when it came to the mechanical side. They kept breaking down. So,
as it stands, the BHB have a total of around 113 hospital beds.
If we had a major incident, we may have to use other spaces, and we do from time to time actually use the corridors in the main emergency department, because our buffer space is not as big as it used to be in the older department, and we use the space within the corridors. If there's a really big emergency, we have to use the space outside of the ambulance bay to process.
Meanwhile, Dr. Bascom-Adams remains cautiously optimistic for the upcoming months. She believes planning is half the battle won.
I would hope that the community would rally around us and make this a very special event. While BHB puts contingencies in place, we hope we don't have to use these contingencies very much. We hope that everybody can get along during the excitement, enjoy without getting too overwhelmed, and that we can come out on the other end of it.
Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Following staff sick-outs plus a relocation of students, the Department of Education announcing that the T.N. Tatum Middle School is expected to reopen on February the 20th. Acting Commissioner of Education Dr. Freddie Evans issued a memo stating, quote, "The building emergency at T.N. Tatum Middle School fostered a brilliant situation of professional teamwork, community partnership, and social alliance. I am certain that every member of the T.N. Tatum family would agree that the Clearwater family have been gracious hosts, opening their doors and ensuring that students were not only accommodated but fully integrated into their school. Although gaps in curriculum delivery were identified, it is important to note that in every instance, steps were taken to ensure that the classroom experience of teaching and learning was delivered to ensure the best opportunities for student success," end quote. Turning to weather news, some more rain and gale force winds for our Wednesday. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
Tonight's forecast is brought to you by the BF&M Insurance Group. I'm AccuWeather's Shanae Shocker. Well, we certainly have a large cold front pushing over the island tonight and into tomorrow morning. That means high winds, higher waves, as well as quite a bit of rain. We're seeing up to about a half an inch throughout tonight. So showers in store. We take a look at our satellite and radar. That area of low pressure well off towards the north, but the cold front, the bulk of it heading right over the island throughout tonight. You can see a lot of these showers already have been making their way through the region throughout today, or at least this afternoon, and that's going to continue into tonight. Our current conditions, our humidity pretty high. We're around 86%. Winds out of the southwest 22 to 26 knots. We continue to see a small craft warning throughout tonight, but that's going to shift over into a gale warning heading towards tomorrow. So boating conditions really through the rest of the week going to be quite tough as well. Water temperature 67 degrees, and our temperatures across the island right now sitting at 66 for St. George's and into Hamilton, 67 in Somerset and Dockyard. You can see that our waves 7 to 14 feet outside the reef currently. Those are going to begin to increase overnight. It's mainly cloudy, and we're going to see our winds pick up as well. So a couple showers throughout tonight. Into tomorrow, that's when we start to see our winds gusting past 40 miles per hour, so over a gale force. We're going to have a mixture of clouds and sun, but definitely seeing a couple of showers towards the early morning hours. Our high at 68 degrees. As far as our tidal conditions go, well, our next tide going to be a low one, and that's around midnight tonight. And then we have our second high tide in the morning tomorrow, right around 6:30. So that's definitely going to be slightly higher than usual, with those winds and the waves being tossed up quite a bit. A look at your gateway forecast showing wintry mixture heading towards Toronto, with that next area of low pressure moving on in. But however, for New York and into Boston, though we did see a winter storm, it is going to dry back out tomorrow. Temperatures here ranging in the mid-40s to the upper 40s in New York, 49 degrees. Across Atlanta and Miami, we're also seeing some cloudier conditions, but staying dry also out in London. Across the Central Caribbean, well, continuing to see those spottier showers into Barbados as well as Trinidad. However, Jamaica mostly clear. The tail end of the front passing through our region, breaking up before it drags through Jamaica. Not quite looking at any tropical development. Looking ahead at your extended forecast, well, we continue to see those showers for our Wednesday, especially in the morning. Then we'll start to see that sunshine break apart. Into Thursday, we'll go back to a small craft warning, though our winds will still be quite brisk. And then they're going to pick back up on our Friday and into Saturday, as well as we have a second cold front push through the area. We're looking at about a half an inch of rainfall with this next system, as well as those winds. So boating conditions really through the end of of this weekend, not going to be the best. You're going to want to stay tuned in to your local radio stations, Ocean 89, Power 95, and Inspire 105 for all your weather news and updates.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
Every day, a tsunami hits Bermuda. A tidal wave of information and images floods our phones, laptops, and tablets. We're awash in emails, posts, tweets, blogs, texts. As an advertiser, your message can easily get drowned out. Time to reach for the life raft. Technology changed the game, but television and radio still lead the way. Who doesn't have an all-time favorite TV ad?
Affleck, where's the beef? You can count on us.
The man, your man could smell it.
TV remains the most powerful advertising tool in the world. For immediacy and engagement, you can't beat radio. Here at Bermuda Broadcasting, we can help you reach thousands of people at the same time. You might have a new small business or run a corporation. We can customize ads to help you build awareness and attract new customers. TV and radio advertising gets results. Call me, Diane Brewer, and I'll show you how. Turning to sports, FA quarterfinal draw keeps the Zebras and Cougars apart. Mike Sharp has tonight's sports report.
The Bermuda Football Association held the draw for the FA Cup quarterfinals. And is it possible for PHC Zebras to meet Giant Cup killers Devonshire Cougars in the third final this season? BAA Green Knights were drawn against Robin Hood on Saturday, March 11th at 8 p.m. On Sunday, March 12th, North Village Rams host the Big Cats Devonshire Cougars. Pembroke Hamilton Club Zebras entertain St. George's Colts. And the winner between Somerset Trojans and Dandytown Hornets will meet Crossroads at Garrison Field. All three of these matches kick off at 3 o'clock. The Cougars and Zebras have met in the Dudley Eve and Friendship Finals this season, with the Big Cats winning both of those finals. Bermuda's Olympic sprinter, 27-year-old Trey Houston, who ran 20.42 in the 200 meters in Rio, recently had tryouts as an NFL wide receiver. Houston had trials with the New York Jets and Kansas City Chiefs. There were those in track and field circles that were concerned Bermuda's top sprinter would turn to the NFL. There was no word on Houston continuing NFL tryouts when Bermuda Healthcare Services presented the talented sprinter a check for $4,000 to pursue his track career.
Trey, on behalf of Bermuda Healthcare Services, here's a check for $4,000 to help you with your work.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
Yes,
sir. Good afternoon, everybody. First and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Brown and also Bermuda Healthcare Services for, basically believing in me again, to give me a donation for $4,000 to help prep me for this upcoming season. And I promise to put my best foot forward, as I always do. And always looking to capitalize from last season. I'm looking to do big things this year, like I always tend to do. And I want to thank all my supporters. I want to thank my family, my friends. And I want to thank Ms. Rana. I mean, sometimes I'm going to pass to her, but, she helps me out. And once again, I want to thank Mr. Brown. We spoke briefly a few times since I've been back, sat down and, just told me what I can and what not to do. And I'm looking for new things coming up in the 2017-2018 season we've been talking about. So the focus is this year, and let's just hope, like I said, everything goes well this year, and looking to do good things this year.
Two-time Olympic long jumper Tyrone Smith also received a $4,000 contribution towards his indoor and outdoor seasons. The president of the Bermuda National Athletics Association, Donna Rayner, read a message to Dr. Brown from Smith.
A quote I read recently said, "Greatness is born in the shadows. When the world is sleeping, it is working diligently, quietly. Then it steps out of the shadows to shine. To achieve greatness, you have to be willing to do the things that most people could never dream of doing. And you must also have the support of a community, from your family and federation to your sponsors. This sport can trick you. As a kid, I got involved in track because, well, to be honest, we were poor and it was the cheapest sport to participate in. All you needed was a pair of shoes. However, the better you get, the more expensive it is. From paying for coaching and travel to medical and nutrition, the dollars add up. Dr. Brown and Bermuda Healthcare Services have once again, for the 5th time, made the decision to be part of my support group. The ones that help me stay diligent in those dark shadows, and when the time comes for me to shine, I will take all of Bermuda with me, thanks to you. After every Olympic year, we athletes usually lose sponsors, so it fills my heart with joy and appreciation to once again receive this sponsorship. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Tyrone.
We now hear from 2 of the junior champions in the Butterfield and Vallis races. John Del Cumberbatch and Ashley Irby were the senior school 5K winners. Sancho Smith and Jessica Bruton took honors among the middle school participants over 2.7K. Paris Mitchell Robinson and Ramaya Brangman won the primary school's 2.7K run. We spoke to Sancho Smith and Ramaya Brangman.
What was this race like in comparison to Front Street?
This race is it's a little bit longer, so I had to keep my strides going, which made it tough for the race.
And were you aware that gentleman, young man behind you, was he putting some little pressure on you?
Yeah, as I kept on looking on the ground, looking for a shadow to see if I want to see it, but he was always right behind me the whole race.
Oh, okay. So you was pushing the pace then. You took the lead.
Yes.
You won the Front Street Mile. Now you're out here. What was it like today?
I made my mother a promise that I would try to win this race because I won Front Street Mile, and I knew I could do this race too. And
okay. So you're starting to win here. What do you have a plan? Like, what's next for you? Going to keep doing all the races?
I'm not really sure. It's just whatever race comes out, I may do it.
Yeah. What's your favorite distance? Do you like the mile or do you like it a little longer?
I like the mile just how it is, but my favorite distance to run is the 800, the 1500, and the 400.
You sound like you do track and field.
I do.
Which club are you with?
Paces Track Club.
Oh, right. Have you ever traveled overseas with them?
Yes. In 2014, I went to Canada to the Flying Angels International, and then in 2016...
Last year?
Yeah. I went to North Carolina to the Rosalie Blunt International.
Gosh, you say 2014. I mean, how old are you?
10.
All right, I'm going to remember that name, Ramaya Brangman. Well done.
Thank you.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Extra large cantaloupes, $4.99 each. Save more than half price fresh Purdue chicken thighs, only $1.79 per pound. Makes a quick meal. Chef Boyardee microwave meal, 7.5-ounce tub, just $1.79. Big savings of $2 on Arm & Hammer laundry detergent, 75-ounce bottle, only $8.99. Yoplait yogurt, 6-ounce tubs, only $1.09. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
Bermuda Broadcasting Company is pleased to inform our viewers Community Calendar will now appear on television. We are now providing Community Calendar 30 and 60-second television ads on ZFB TV7 at a special rate. You will have the opportunity to showcase your ad either 6:58, 7:58, or 8:58 p.m. Monday through Friday, a minimum of 7 days. For more information, please contact our Sales and Marketing Department at 295-2828.
Turning to medical news, can one heavy meal be hazardous to your health? And a new development in testing for sleep apnea. Here are some of today's top health stories.
Testing for obstructive sleep apnea, a condition which can block breathing, may soon be a whole lot easier. According to a new study in the Annals of Internal Medicine, simpler home sleep tests were as good as expensive lab stays when it came to diagnosing patients. Doctors in Germany report even just a single rich meal, heavy in high-fat foods, can spike your triglycerides, insulin sensitivity, and liver fat levels, which can lead to metabolic diseases. And a new study at the University of Utah finds 3 out of 4 patients may not need blood thinners before undergoing surgery. The findings challenge standard guidelines and suggest only high-risk patients may need anticoagulants. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Brooke Silva-Braga for CBS News, New York.
And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Stay safe on those wet roads. Good night.